Bashar. My name is Cheryl. I live in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I was on a camping trip near Tucson, Arizona, and about 3 a.m. I saw a very unusual phenomenon. It was like slow flash bulbs appearing in different portions of the sky, and they were quite large, and from my perspective, they were a little bit smaller than the size of the moon. During the next night of camping, I decided to see if I could see this phenomenon again, and I saw a very unusual bright light. And then outside of it, a smaller light blinked and then orbited around this bright light. This happened several more times over the course of an hour. And then all of a sudden, those unusual lights faded away, and I saw nothing but normal stars. And then all of a sudden, those stars faded away, and I noticed that the sky was actually covered with clouds. I am absolutely astonished. I am certain that I was awake, and I was wondering if you could give me your perspective. Thanks so much, Bashar. Bye.
As many people on your planet expand their consciousness, they will begin to peer into other dimensionalities, or their senses will become more sensitized to the comings and goings of dimensional portals and other kinds of crafts that may come through them as they pass through your reality. Or you will be more sensitive to the different variations and expressions of energy that your planet gives off, seeing different portals and vortices that exist in your atmosphere. So this may be a multitude of things impinging upon your senses, seeing more multidimensionally, and being able to experience energies that express themselves that were invisible to you before.
Good day, Bashar. I'm very happy to be with you at this moment. Very exciting.
It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well.
Thank you. I loved listening to you about the concept of gods. And, I'm reflecting to myself, it took me about 25 years to relieve myself from the concept of God, of religion, religious, and become free to be who I am, and I am God.
Yes, everyone is.
Yes. So I wonder, in our civilization, how far as a collective are we from freeing ourselves to become the free that we should be?
Well, again, please do remember that you keep shifting collectives. You never change the world you're on. You never change the collective you're in at any given moment. You change yourself and you shift to a different version of Earth that already simultaneously exists, that contains a different collective that already believes more in the direction that you prefer. So by speaking about this in a linear way, as if it would appear that your world is changing, overall, as a general idea, not precise, general idea, over the course of the next half century, the next 50 of your years, for the most part, we'll see the greatest shift and you'll be experiencing the greatest change. But again, it's simply because you've shifted to a version of Earth that is already that way.
Yeah. As a collective, I wonder, while you say it, each of us shift into a new reality that we are aligned with.
Yes.
So does that matter as a collective, if we shift as a collective, or does it only go by individual shifts to a collective?
Both. Collectives can shift. There can be consensus agreement among many different individuals to shift in the same way, to the same level, the same frequency. So, yes.
Well, that's good news. 50 years is not bad.
No, not at all. Yeah. A blink of an eye. But again, individuals, to some degree, can sometimes shift more quickly than the collective. It just depends.
It depends by what? By how much of it I shifted?
Yes, and also whether you chose to be an example of the shift that can allow others to see you as a living example that they can shift too. So, in other words, there have to be some that are out in front to be able to act as examples for the rest to know they can shift as well.
Yeah, I got you. I understand it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I live outside of the city, when we have a beautiful forest that I walk on the path. And since the last transmission that you spoke about the shells of around us,
yes,
When I walk, there's a certain area that I feel strongly the elementals
Yes.
present there. So since that transmission occurred, I become more aware, meaning I tuned in more. So each time I go to that location, I send my thought to them, and sometimes verbally I'll say hello, sometimes mentally I'll say hello.
Yeah.
It's funny enough that the first day that after listening to you, walking down there at a large tree, we have a very old trees in that location, shifted, and the crackling of wood sounded. And I was like, I accepted it as if a communication happened.
It was.
But then it was there because it didn't happen after that again.
That's all right. These things will fluctuate. It's all right. Still a communication.
Is it?
Yes.
I would love that. You said when you're saying communication, for me, it's a communication probably in a limited way of a human communicating.
There is information in that experience. You as a human may interpret it in different ways, and you may process it to the point where the information becomes understandable at a different time. That doesn't mean it wasn't a communication. You may not know it immediately, but you will eventually understand how the communication relates to you and how to relate to it.
So you also mentioned that to do it in meditation and all of that, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm impatient.
Why? Does that mean you think there's a better place to be than where you are?
No, actually, I'm very good with where I'm at.
Except when you're impatient.
Yeah, the impatient is like, okay, I'm here. I recognize you. You're in this location. You are in everywhere, but in this location, I feel you. So I would like this.
So you have insistence.
I do, obviously. Thank you. Yeah.
Let it unfold in the way that it naturally unfolds. You have to trust that it will unfold perfectly for you. If you insist, you're actually shortchanging yourself from the perfect way it could unfold.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And by insisting, you actually make yourself incapable of hearing other forms of communication that might be coming to you.
I needed to repeat this. What did you just say to me?
By insisting on hearing the communication or having an experience in one particular way, that insistence can actually prevent you from receiving other forms of communication that might be coming to you. You won't perceive them if you insist on a particular outcome because you don't know that that's the best outcome.
I so agree.
So you might actually miss forms of communication that would be coming to you if you insist on a particular outcome, because that may not be what works best for you.
And the only way to be open to it is not to insist and just allow.
Well, again, if you understand that your insistence is a limitation you're placing on yourself, why would you do it?
No, you're good. You're right. You're right.
I know.
I agree. Okay, thank you.
Again, it is our passion and our pleasure. Have a good day.
Thank you, Bashar. Bye.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar. How are you? So I really appreciate the fact that the messages that you've been giving us have a sense of practicalness, concreteness, and consistency in it. And I think that there should be people out there that should treat these materials coming from the invisible world, the world that's beyond our senses, such as from near-death experiencers or from authentic channel beings such as yourself, to treat this information and materials as more than just philosophy, but with a more grounded practicalness. So my question to you is, if we are to study this information as a subject matter, for example, the mechanism that you described about the higher mind and physical mind interaction, things like that, how can we study it? What kind of methodology we can use? Yeah, so that's my question. And I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. Goodbye.
Remember that first and foremost, we do say that the formula we give you is not a philosophy. It is literally a description of the mechanics, the practical mechanics energetically in consciousness of how you actually create the manifestation of your physical reality experience. So we would suggest that you begin with that. A complete understanding of the instruction manual that describes the structure, nature, and mechanics of how you use consciousness to create your physical reality experience will inform you about any other practical way to relate to any philosophical or metaphysical concept, because you will already understand the basics as a framework against which to compare and examine any other philosophical and metaphysical concept to see how it relates to that physical, mechanical, practical framework. And the things that don't match it, that don't fit in that framework, you can understand as mythological chaff, so to speak, as a misunderstanding or an outdated definition that simply isn't really representative of the actual mechanics of your consciousness. This is coming in the near future, given by the channel as the unified theory of metaphysics, providing a framework to understand metaphysical concepts as the physics of consciousness. Therefore, when you understand it all as the physics of consciousness, then you will understand how it practically applies to the creation of your physical reality.
Hi.
Good day.
Hi, Bashar.
Good day.
Good day. Bashar, can I ask you, first thing is, are we still in the eye of the needle?
Yes. As I said, this will progress all the way into and through 2023 to prepare you for letting go of things that you don't need anymore, to streamline yourselves so that you can be more yourself and pass more easily through that particular energy tunnel, and prepare yourself for the beginning of the window of open contact. So yes.
Okay. So it's good to know, because it seems like this year has been even more challenging.
Yes.
At least
Well,
personally.
you're in the
and-
center of it.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess just keep letting go.
Yes. Keep examining yourself, keep investigating with honesty, know yourself, let go of those things that truly are vibrationally not compatible with you, that don't serve you. Be yourself more. Follow the formula more precisely, more often. That will accelerate you. That will prepare you.
Okay. And then, Bashar, I have a question. So I can do that. And how do I shift timelines to match the one that I prefer?
You're doing it all the time. Follow the formula. The formula is the rudder that you use to navigate yourself as you constantly shift billions of times per second through different versions of Earth. And with your hand firmly on the rudder, by following the formula and acting it out as precisely as possible, you are steering yourself in the direction of more and more versions of Earth that are more and more reflective of the vibration that you prefer. So you're already shifting. You don't have to learn to shift. You have to learn to steer. And the way you learn to steer is by following the formula and making it first nature to do so.
Got it. I just came back from Guam like a week ago, and it's been kind of challenging to adjust back, and I'm not sure why. Is it?
Well, because you are expanding yourself and not coming back as the self you were. You're coming back as a different self. And therefore, you have to take on the things that are now relevant for the different you, not attempt to incorporate the things that are no longer you.
Got it.
Does that help?
Yeah.
All right. Happy
Thanks,
shifting.
Bashar.
Happy shifting.